And we're live.
We're not live. I just felt like repeating what you said.
I just got the notification that the show's supposed to start.
Hey. I don't know if that means the notifications are working or not.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's from YouTube, so.
Not exactly my name, but okay.
Okay.
I was teasing.
Hey,
you
Ephraim's here.
Notifications and we started. What's that?
Ephraim's here.
Hey, Frank.
So what's the goal for tonight?
Finish this.
Okay.
I can.
Well, gosh, oh, there they are. Okay. Lost my tissues.
You got a cold still?
Not too much, but my setup is a little weird. I actually threw my desk to my laptop beneath it. And, because I'm doing that every once in a while, it gets just smudgy. So I gotta...
Oh, you said you have a glass desk, right?
Yeah. Just gotta clean it off every once in a while. That's what I was trying to do. So, yeah, instead of some giant smudge of who knows what on my desk, I can see clearly. Oh.
Oh, that's not something I expected to happen.
That's different.
That is the wrong part of the marker to open.
Whoopsie.
Well, that's the well.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen. Yeah. So I think after this one, I'm done doing the SPAWNuary.
Are you tired of Spawn now?
Well, at the risk of being disqualified, I'm never. It's been a long time since I've been a big fan of Spawn anyway.
Ah.
And yeah, I'm getting a little sick of them, but there's so many people doing it.
Yeah.
The first one had over 3,500 entries.
Wow.
And that's including already established comic book professionals. So any amateurs don't really have a chance. I mean, they don't have much of a chance anyway. Now, actually, honestly, don't know why an established professional would do the contest, because they're definitely not getting paid established professional rates.
I don't know, man. They just want to do Spawn.
Yeah, well, they could just do Spawn anytime they want to. I'm saying they're not paid. They're not getting paid for it. It's really kind of crafty because McFarlane never promised to pay anyone. So all these people are drawing Spawn for free.
Well, it's good marketing.
Yeah, it's definitely good marketing. I don't think anyone ever could accuse Todd McFarlane of not being a good marketer. And that's not saying anything against Todd McFarlane. It's just that he just got 3,000 people to draw his character for free, and he can choose whatever he wants to put on the cover.
Yep.
Without paying for it. So, yeah. It's kind of sneaky. And most of those people that are competing, I mean, they might love Spawn, but they really want to get Todd McFarlane's attention so that they can get work from him, but I don't know how that's going to work out for them. Realistically, I mean. I've known some really, really good professionals. They're not still working doing Spawn. Hell, David Finch wasn't paid to do a Spawn cover as far as I know. He did a Spawn, but he did it on his own live stream, so.
Hey, Water Pop says that's going big. What paper size is that?
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's 11 by 17 standard comic book paper. Once I spot the rest of these blacks, then it's all going to be blending from here. Water Pop's quite the watercolor artist.
E-Friend says that he redrew Finch's Spawn in full color.
Yeah,
Water Pop says, nice. The inking looks great so far.
Except for the non-exciting blacks, but it looks good because you can read the contrast pretty well, right?
Yeah.
But it's not very exciting coloring all this black.
Water Pop says, yeah, but it smells good.
Yeah, I don't know if I could say it smells good. That's alcohol. Woo. I was going to do the feathering ones and all that, but I've been convinced to do.
Hey, it's Eek the Tat. Aaron, how's it going? Good to hear, Aaron. Good to see you, too. Water Pop says, not using the black licorice markers, wasted opportunity.
I don't have any of them, and black licorice and me don't get along.
Oh, yeah. Nasty stuff.
Yeah, the only thing that even remotely tastes like black licorice that I like was Southern Comfort, and that never did me any good. Not one time did it do me any good.
It's one of the nice things. My brother gets me a jar of Jelly Belly jelly beans every year for my birthday. And I hate black licorice. And it comes with black licorice jelly beans. And so I just basically pick them out, and my wife loves them. So it's like the stuff I don't like, she likes. The stuff that I like, she doesn't like.
You complete each other.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, Water Pop says that you can still be friends because you won't steal any of his absinthe or candy.
Nope. Nope. I won't steal any of your absinthe anyway. I can't drink. Drinking is a no-no for me. And if I could drink,
it wouldn't be absinthe.
Yeah, more than likely it'd be top shelf scotch or martinis.
There was a friend of mine that we were at a party, a cast party thing, and I don't know what this stuff was. It's thick like syrup and it tasted like licorice. He got it from Europe. I don't know.
That might have been absinthe.
Maybe, I don't know. He's like, I don't know what this is. Like, one of his foreign exchange students gave it to him.
Huh. Yeah, that might have been absinthe.
I don't think it was Sambuca because no. Reiki. What? This is Water Pop saying, offering suggestions as to what it might be. I don't know. I mean, I drank a cup because I was being polite, but then I was like, yeah, that's enough of that. You can't even do shots because it was too thick. So it's like you had to drink it.
Almost sounds like Jaeger.
Yeah, but thick. I mean, it was like syrup. It was.
Jaeger's pretty thick. Unless they change the consistency. Like I said, I don't drink, so not anymore.
Reiki is a Middle Eastern cordial that tastes like licorice. Licorice. Okay. Good to know. Good to avoid.
Yeah.
I'm a girly drinker type of guy. I want my stuff to be fruity and delightful.
No. The kind of person that believes the apple teenies are actually martinis.
No, I don't believe that at all.
I'm just kidding.
I think they're delightful.
Yuck. I'm not a vodka drinker, but wish I hadn't lost that brush. Like everybody was looking for it, nobody's found it. So.
Oh my goodness. Water Pop said there is a great one made from yogurt and mushrooms. Oh, that just.
I could see that. Cultures.
Yeah, I guess. You say that, it just does not make. Oh, that does not sound delightful. And Water Pop, we can talk about booze or whatever. It doesn't matter. I will freely admit I've never understood the whole you have to learn to like it thing. I'm like, no, because there's other stuff that tastes good right from the get-go. Like, why should you have to learn to like something when there's something else that will get you just as messed up, but will be delicious the entire time that you're drinking it?
Well, there is a really good reason for drinking stuff that doesn't taste good when you're drinking it.
So you don't drink too much?
That's right. You're limiting how much you're going to drink. Because your gauge is when it tastes okay and you want more, it's too much.
Water Pop says that this is reminding him of the stare down at the start of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, that's Gunslinger Spawn.
Yeah.
Except for it's more based on a Clint Eastwood reference.
Yeah, Aaron said that bad tasting alcohol thing is true. He can remember drinking way too much Long Island iced tea. And I say if he could remember it, you probably didn't have too much. Just saying.
Long Island iced tea. It's not iced tea.
I know that anything that I have become inebriated on, I only do it once. Because after that, I can't. I mean like really hammered.
Well, see, inebriated and blackout drunk are two totally different things for me.
Okay, well, I've never been blackout drunk, but...
Well, if I'm not blackout drunk, I can remember it.
But I got really drunk drinking snake bites and kamikazes. And now the thought of either one just turns my stomach. Pretty much everything I've ever gotten seriously hammered on, I'm just like, ugh. Like my belly remembers.
Yeah, well, I guess that your stomach's having warning signs. No, like, no, that's not a good idea.
Water Pop said, I have been in the industry so long that I look for new flavors. The amount of bitter I can stand makes others think I'm either dead inside or damaged.
Well, yeah, that's... Like I said, my drinks are generally whiskey, scotch, or martinis, none of which are sweet. Dirty martini, too. I like dirty martini sometimes.
I like gin and tonics. Always have.
Because you like the tonics?
I just like gin and tonics. I don't know. Give it some, a slice of lime with it, and it's delightful. Scotch with a bit of honey and salt is mighty fine.
No thanks. I like my scotch straight.
You heard it here. Rich is homophobic. He likes all of his
That's not
scotch
what
straight.
you heard. Don't be going making up shit. What you heard was I like my scotch straight up.
They say sociopaths prefer gin. Nice to meet another gin drinker.
Yeah, the only gin I drink is in a martini.
Aaron said he bought his dad a bottle of 18-year-old Scotch whiskey for Christmas.
Nice. What kind?
Oh, adult. He bought his dad an adult beverage.
Adult is the answer to what kind?
Well, you know, it's 18 years old, so it's an adult now.
No, I was meaning what kind of Scotch.
I know.
What brand, because they're different.
Like
Not
a
whole lot
Glenfiddich
different,
or
but a lot
something.
different. Glenfiddich, yeah. Glenfiddich, Glenlivet's.
Or
Those are
from that
actual-
river area. Okay.
Those are actual Glens.
I don't know why, because my bedroom is like the weirdest. There are times when it's the hottest room
That's
in
a
the winter,
strange
and there are
way to
times
have
when it's the
a
coldest
conversation.
room. And last night it decided it was going to be cold, which is fine by me. I like it that way. But this morning it was way too cold. Like the dog wasn't comfortable, and I was having to put a blanket on. So I kept the door open to try to get more of the, because there's, I mean, you just open the door and it's instantaneously warmer. So was doing that, but then my wife was working on the walls, and now I can't breathe. Water Pop said Speyside, which
Says what?
and Speyside or Speyside, I don't know. And Paul, I'm sorry, Paul, if I butcher this. Paul Maitland Art.
Yeah.
He's on Twitch, I believe.
Yeah.
He put a picture. I just.
Oh, I can't see what it is either.
Oh, well, I just. It's just. It says moist.
Uh-huh.
I clicked on the show thing. It's the first time I've ever done that. So.
You click on the
Yeah.
like this?
Yep. That's how I could see that it said moist.
Yeah, it's so weird because StreamYard is really good as far as a stream device, but or platform or whatever, but it doesn't show us what's happening. Like if we get a follower, if we give any reaction, we don't see it really.
Well, it's everyone that's been commenting on. Yeah. Oh no, Ephraim. Ephraim's on YouTube. Okay. We're just getting a lot more Twitch followers. That's cool.
I'm getting some more. There's a good art community. So
Well, I'm assuming that Paul Maitland Art or Matlin or again, I apologize if I'm butchering anything. Ephraim's there.
yeah.
But I mean, I'm assuming he does art since it says
Yeah.
art. And it's
He paints in the Bruce Struzan style, like movie poster style.
oh yeah, that's cool.
I think he was doing some Looney Tunes tonight.
The
By the way, Water Pop and Paul, if you guys want to put links, you're welcome to.
I forget what I was saying. Oh well. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. So, Anchor Down Tattoo Shop in Syracuse, Indiana. Not a sponsor. They,
Not affiliated.
yeah, not affiliated. They,
Anyway.
The owner of it, my friend, got them all these giant posters that kind of look like old, Tales from the Crypt comic books and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But it's based on the individual artists. Like, it's got their name on it and stuff, and like one's got like this Grim Reaper thing, but it's a tattoo needle. So, but it's all very much done in that style, like Tales from the Crypt, and they're very, very cool. I guess it was some artist in Ohio that did it for him, but it was pretty cool. I mean, we're talking like banners, like I'm gonna guess 3x5s at least.
Yeah, so probably show banners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the circuit for a while. My banner just says straight jacket. Because I didn't need a whole bunch of stuff.
Uh-huh.
So they told me, everybody knew me.
Waterpop said, I love the old Shadow and Ratfink art style.
The old... what?
You mean like the old comic? The old... Only the Shadow knows what evil lurks in men's hearts? That kind of thing?
Oh. Yeah. Shadow and Ratfink are two different things. I didn't hear Ratfink, I guess. It's not what I didn't make it out.
Oh. He said, I remember reading Ratfink at the barbershop as a kid. That's cooler than my barbershop. My barbershop had those...
Towels?
No, they had... The guy had those old... It's the Bible, but it's done in like a comic book, but, in hardback. So, that was the only thing that, when I was a kid, that would have been even remotely interesting in that barbershop. I tried a barbershop here in town. One of my boys can go to them. The other one really can't. Well, they can't. Neither one can go to them now because car ran into it. But it was just...
Yeah, that severely limits the availability to do business, right?
Yeah. But the guy was just fixated on Batman. Like he ran... Like, he had a TV above his door, oddly enough, and a VCR attached to it, or a DVD player, I don't know. And he would play the old 60s Batman TV show. And he just was always talking about Batman. Just always. Just such a weird... But whatever. I mean, he did decent for at least one of my boys, and we'd probably go back to him, except for the shop was hit by a car, and so it's closed. And one of my former students opened up a shop, and so I take my kids to him.
It wasn't a blind wife that hit the shop, was it?
No. It was not my wife. Not this time.
See, I wasn't calling her out. I just said blind wife.
I like the trend. Waterpop says, I like the trend of shops having beer and being a cool hangout spot.
No. You shouldn't have alcohol on something that you're going to get permanently tattooed in.
Well, I think he was talking about barbershops.
Oh.
But maybe he was talking about tattoo
okay, never
shops.
mind. No, never mind. I was spacing. In that case, ignore everything I say.
Yeah, there's There was a barber shop I took my boys to. Again, I was looking for somebody for them. And, yeah, they had like an Xbox and stuff that you could play while you're waiting and, all this stuff. And I was like, that's pretty fun. Except for as a front for a drug dealer. Found that out later. Oh. Okay, maybe not there. Yeah, barbers. Don't think your blood and bleed out. Ruin your lines. Thin. Don't thin your blood. Yeah.
Right. That is bad. Plus, you want to be conscious of making a tattoo choice. You don't want to end up with something that you really didn't want, but you were
more agreeable than normal.
What's that?
You were made chemically agreeable?
Well, I wasn't thinking chemically agreeable, but I was thinking making a decision while impaired, Like, oh, I thought that was a good idea at the time. I have heard that very, very many times in my career.
Okay, Water Pop's crazy because he said I fall asleep getting tattooed without alcohol. It's super relaxing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna agree to disagree with that.
It's because you're a tattoo artist. I've often been told I was light-handed, and I've had people fall asleep on me. So
I can't imagine that.
Well, that's because of who you had tattoo you.
It's because I have nerves and they feel things.
Yeah, because nobody else has nerves. Because you're a sensitive type that drinks girly martinis.
That's me. And you're jealous because my stuff tastes good.
I am not jealous. I know you'd like to think so. No, thank you. I don't drink anything anymore, so I guess maybe I am jealous because I can't drink anything.
Well, I hardly ever drink.
Not really, because I don't drink. I never really did drink all that much anyway.
Yeah. Just the thought of trying to get sick doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Hmm. I don't think anyone drinks to get sick. Well, not since the 80s when there was party till you puke. But
Water Pop is good. That's right. Water Pop said he'll make me a great sour apple martini if we meet. Awesome sauce.
Yeah. Not a martini. I'm a purist.
I like martinis too. I just, I like, if I have to choose something, it's probably going to be something. Well, gin and tonic is probably what I would order if I was just randomly getting a drink. Aaron, are you saying that you would get a wine cooler or that the sour apple martini is nothing more than a wine cooler?
Yeah.
And a delicious one at that.
Well, wine cooler.
Water Pop said, Jura the Road, Old Grandad, 114, and IPA are his go-tos.
Oh.
Aaron said he was saying both, but it's basically just a wine cooler.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of IPAs. The ones that I've had just taste like you're drinking an ashtray.
No way, man. Wine coolers are amazing.
IPAs, not wine coolers.
IPAs.
I know a lot of guys that like the IPAs. Just, they're not for me.
Zima with the Jolly. I'm a little too young for Zima with the Jolly Rancher.
Mm.
Just barely missed that whole phase. I've had a Zima. I think. Maybe.
It's not really.
But I would have had to have. I would have had to have probably stolen that from my brother or something, or I don't know.
It's not really a bragging issue.
Well, it's just one of those. I don't think they make them anymore, but I mean, I didn't think they were bad. Oh goodness. Aaron said that he was introduced to Zimas on a spring break.
That sounds like the kind of drink you would be getting on spring break.
I was still in high school in '94, so.
Ooh, not me.
Well, I was.
Not me. I've been long out of high school.
I don't even know what Gold Zima is.
I'm not sure I know what Gold Zima is either.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. Or if I did, I blocked it out of my memory.
That's mostly because I wasn't a big Zima drinker.
I believe Water Pop was saying that a Gold Zima sounds like someone pissed in your bottle and pranked you.
Yeah, he's probably right.
But Aaron said that they made a gold version and it was bad. I'll trust you on that.
It sounds like it would have been, right?
Yeah. No. Not at all. Water Pop, I have nothing to do with tattoos. So.
No, he's a teacher.
Yeah, I teach English, but... Well, Water Pop was asking if we both teach tattoo. And...
I did teach tattoo. I taught 10 award-winning artists under me.
Water Pop says he would love to learn how to tattoo someday.
I just had this discussion with somebody else. Actually, it's really kind of a pain in the ass nowadays because there's so much saturation in the market that for you to make money, you have to really kind of kill yourself to do it. Like you have to undercut. You're not making money. You're not making the money that you should be making.
Ephraim wants to know if you believe in aliens.
Yes, strictly by the definition of the word alien.
Waterprop says he'd rather just be able to tattoo for friends.
Yeah, until you start doing it, and then they want it all the time, and you realize that it's a lot more work than you're thinking it is. Not to be a spoil sport, but you know, I would rather
See, that was
know going into it that it's
the last time Rhonda was getting tattooed. Like no one in the shop had ever tattooed or had rarely ever tattooed their family.
yeah. Well, when I was learning and when I was teaching, the rule is that you don't.
Okay.
You don't tattoo your friends or family until much, much later, because when you start tattooing,
Yeah.
if you screw up on somebody, you'll have to look at that the rest of your life, because it's not just somebody that's in and out. It's somebody that you'll have to see forever. And you'll kick yourself in the ass because it's somebody you care about. So it's a matter of...
Waterpop said that they can trade me or pay me then.
Yeah, nothing sucks worse than screwing up on somebody you care about, having to see it all the time.
Yeah.
It's really disheartening for people that are trying to win. And like I said, you carry it around with you for the rest of your life. Unless you are the type that really don't give a shit, and that's the type shouldn't be tattooing anymore. There are those. I mean, there's people that are really afraid of hurting somebody. They're really timid about hurting somebody. And then there are people that just don't give a shit. And then there are people that really kind of enjoy hurting people. You know, and
Waterpop says he's lucky enough to do art for fun, so he really just likes to learn new things.
right. You know, like I'm just saying, I've worked in the industry for 30 years, and it wasn't as much rewarding as it was a hassle. There's a lot of things to learn. There's a lot of things to think about when you're dealing with it. It's the only form of art that you have to worry about catching a disease from the canvas, or whether or not the canvas moves, or whether the canvas will stay still. I mean, you laugh, but that's absolutely true. And it's something that nobody thinks of when they're getting into it or they want to get into it. They're not like, oh, well, they could have a disease, because some states we're not even allowed to ask if you have AIDS. So we put ourselves at risk, and for what? A few bucks? And the person, if tattoo is being done right and it's being done reputably, the only person that's really at risk for catching a disease is the tattoo artist, because we handle the dirty needles. We give a new needle to everyone that we're working on.
Yeah.
So the only person that's really in danger of catching anything is us. And, you're never going to be painting a line and all of a sudden that canvas just jumps and flinches and bends over and pukes in your lap and starts whining and crying and screaming. And you have all kinds of, ranges. So you really don't know what to expect until it's there.
On the last tattoo, Rhonda got me and the artist worried because she started getting hot. And the last time I saw that happen, she was getting blood drawn. And, oh, God. I mean, she just, all of a sudden, she just looked at me, fan me. And then, like, it was just terrifying. I'm like, oh, sorry. Just,
that is one of the symptoms of people that are getting ready to pass out.
Yeah. Well, again, that's one of the things that we were worried about. So, tattoo artist stopped and was like,
they could get queasy. There's really a whole lot of symptoms that it could be.
But yeah. And then of course my wife is like, I'm fine. And it's like, yeah, well, that's great. You're going to stay fine because we're not going to let you pass out because we're going to take a little break. So her artist was good about that.
When I was tattooing, we had this questionnaire, and it would always ask if there's anything your tattoo artist should know. And almost invariably, people were like, no, there's nothing that they should know. And almost invariably, there's something we should know. Like, I had this girl that there's nothing I should know. And then she's getting a tattoo in the middle of her back, and she bends over. She's a really tall girl. She bends over, like from a sitting position that I have elevated so that the chair is up. Yeah. She bends over, puts her hand on the floor, and I'm behind her, so I'm not seeing what's going on. And all of a sudden, she starts rocking back and forth, right? Yeah. And I'm like, what's going on? And her mom's standing there, and I'm like, we got to figure out what's going on. I get up and walk around, and she's passed out, balanced on her hands and her feet. Huh. And her mom's like, oh, yeah, I should have told you that she passes out at the sight of needles. Like, yeah, you think, that might have been
That might have been something to bring up.
That might have been something tattoo artists would need to know. Especially when I'm showing her the tattoo needle to know that it's a brand new needle, and you know what I mean? I'm trying to comfort her by showing her that stuff, and yeah.
See, I remember going to, I got this new dentist in Muncie, and you go there and they're trying to find stuff out about you, and they asked if I had ever had any orthodontia done. And to me, orthodontia is what happens at the orthodontist, not what happens at the dentist. And I've never been to an orthodontist. So I was like, no, nothing. And he gets on there and he's like, what do you mean you haven't had anything done? You had this tooth removed, just, and he was kind of pissy about it. But I'm like, dude, I have never been to an orthodontist. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I may have had a tooth removed, like my wisdom teeth were removed, but I have no idea. She does this all the time, no worries. She passes out randomly. No, she's good. Just keep working.
Yeah, I've been told that before too.
Yeah, I understand why. I mean, again, I've been told that you're not allowed to, and I understand that, but I'm just like, I went in there and I paid for a tattoo, and I agreed to the tattoo, and I've seen the placement of the tattoo, and you start working on the tattoo, and then all of a sudden, I'm out of it. It's like, I'd rather have you finish it, really, but yeah. I get why not, but
you can't. There's a lot of valid reasons why not.
I agree. I understand it. I'm not arguing that you should continue, but I also understand why why someone would just be like, dude, why don't you just finish? So I get
why they're not like, why didn't you just, or why they're like, oh, why didn't you just finish? But yeah, we can't, and there are very good reasons why. So
I know. That's my wife was getting a skin tag removed on her neck, and the numbing agent, like the local anesthetic they used, basically instead of going down, went up, and so she passed out. But as she was going down, they like, we're still gonna take this off, okay? So yeah, they took it off when she was out.
yeah, that's a different environment, though. I had a dentist that came to me to get tattooed one time,
Yeah.
and you would think with a dentist they know the signs of passing out, right?
Nah.
This dude's like, no, I'm fine, which is probably what all the people tell the dentist before they pass out too, right? He passed out and smashed through a table in my lobby.
Wow.
Like, fell right on his face and smashed through a table in my lobby, and I'm like, yeah, you're fine. It didn't occur to you that you could possibly pass out? You know, you're in a profession where you regularly watch people pass out.
I scared my dentist once because they were I had like, I can't remember if it was like left side and then right side, or if it was like top and then bottom, but I had my wisdom taken out on like 1 week apart, and it hurt so bad the first time I stopped breathing. Just like they're yelling at me to breathe and I can't hear them because I just can't. And you know, they start removing things, and then I realize what's going on. Then I'm like, you know, because I didn't realize I had just stopped breathing. So then the next week when I went there, they gave me more local, so it didn't hurt like it didn't hurt at all. So when they popped out the first tooth, I started laughing, which freaked him out. He's like, are you okay? And it was just all that stress because I expected it to hurt it the same way it did the week before. But no, it was, I didn't feel anything. And I just started laughing.
That's often what causes people to pass out, though, ironically. Like, they'll be all worked up for it to be painful, and then it won't be as painful as they think, and all the endorphins build up, but they've got no place to go.
Water pop, I'm sure if I thought about, you know, dangling participles, because students always do fun stuff with grammar, but not off the top of my head.
Participles.
What'd you say?
And dangling participles.
Yeah. As you get older, can't really help it. So.
People just gotta learn to deal with it.
Yeah. The guy that was department chair before me, he's obviously older. Although I guess there are 3 people in my department. No. Most of the people in my department are older than me. Holy crap.
And it won't be long before it's the other way around.
Well, I just had already assumed it was the other way around, but now that I'm thinking about it, like, I'd say about, maybe over half I have the largest department that I'm in charge of in my school. And the Spanish teachers are both older than me, and they're in my department. Now the German teacher's younger, and I'd say there are 3 or 4 English teachers that are younger than me. But there are like 3 or 4 that are older than me too. So, yeah. Wow. That's fantastic. I don't have to feel so old now. Sweet. Huh. Well, anyway, so the guy that was the department chair, he's always he always tells me about because he's a father of boys and I'm a father of boys, so we compare notes. And his boys have all great. In fact, I actually work with one of his boys now. So he's kind of he's about 10 years ahead of where I am, and I mean he's older than that, but I'm just saying like the way his children are, through college, and mine are, we're getting our college mail now and all that kind of stuff. That kind of compares, and so a lot of times I'll just ask him about stuff that he, how do you handle X when this happens? Because, like, when my son is dating one of my former students, and I just find that weird. Nice girl, but still just weird that I knew her first, I think.
Well, you're a teacher.
Yeah, but like, this is the first year I had my kid in my class. So that was weird, and I asked my old boss, I was like, what was that like for you? Because he had his kids in his class. He told me, he was like, well, they'll never ask you for advice. They won't ask for your help. And so far, that's been 100% accurate. So
that's good.
Last year, one of them, I was like, the next time you write a paper, if you turn it in without me seeing it, I'm going to be mad. Because he was having mistakes that he didn't need to make, and I could have caught just by looking over the instructions. So one of them has kind of been talked to about it. The other one, so far, has done okay. Oddly enough, they're both pretty decent when it comes to, writing and things. They both can read well. I'm shocked. But I also keep trying to get Thaddeus to become a tattoo artist. He's looking into becoming a therapist, though. I was like, well, okay. I mean, that'll make money. I don't mind. But the reason why I thought tattoo artist would be good for him because, I don't know, I mean, they always seem like relatively laid back places, and, you're not dealing with a whole bunch of people all at once. You're getting to do artwork. Just thought it would be good.
Well, that's another drawback because you're getting to do artwork, but you're not getting to do artwork of your choosing. You're getting to do artwork of somebody else's choosing, and sometimes you don't feel like it's artwork.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And that's kind of weighs on the soul for a little bit sometimes.
Oh, no, that's understandable. Trust me. Brandon Sanderson said it. He said there are two careers you should never go into if you want to be a writer. One is a programmer. The other one's an English teacher. It's like, oh, God. Screwed the pooch on that one.
Sometimes I love the brush on these, but sometimes when you color with the marker and you use circles and you can blend in, and they'll actually lighten what's already there. It's wondering.
The sketch that you are kind of using as your hand shield or whatever you want to call it. You know,
Yeah. Water.
Yeah. It reminds me of Cad Bane.
Okay.
Do you know who Cad Bane is?
Yes, I know who Kazan is.
Okay. Well, I mean, while he's one of the cooler Star Wars characters, he's not necessarily the most well known. I mean, he's definitely a.
Well, he was a Mandalorian, but yeah, I mean, he's pretty well known. Like, I know him, and I don't do a lot of gaming, and I don't really keep up much with the Star Wars. I don't keep up much with the Star Wars canon outside.
Well, that's kind of why I asked, though. I mean,
well, yeah, I know it is.
But with the way the teeth are and the nose isn't really in the sketch, it's
well, that's because it's a mask.
Okay.
I wasn't sketching the nose because,
Well, that's fine. I mean, it's a sketch. Who cares? But I'm just, it just, I mean, that is really close to Cad Bane.
Well, he got no place.
Wedge Antilles.
What do you want, sir?
Oh, no.
You want some for the showtime?
Okay.
We're gone, right?
Is Eli doing anything fun for Martin Luther King Jr. Day?
No, I don't think they even have school. Or are you talking about because the day's a day off?
That's the day off, but yeah, I figured.
Probably not particularly, because he's limited to what we are doing.
Yeah.
Might go and visit his best friend with the construction company.
What might get that, so?
Yep. So,
Good one. On it. You good? You like that? You don't want three. You good? You good? You good, yeah.
It's that time of night. He was herding cats.
He's what?
Herding the cat.
Oh. Water Pop wants to know if that's an N5 Copic. Or Copic, whatever it is.
It is an N4. Yes, it's a neutral though.
Water Pop wants to know if you're staying grayscale or if you'll color it.
Nope, staying grayscale. I would. I don't really have time to color it because it's kind of due tomorrow. But it'd be cool to paint it. I'm not going to have time to do that though. And I don't have a stand big enough to record it. So I'm not going to. Not going to be able to color it digitally either. Talking to water popping, another thing earlier.
What about?
I told him we need more people to come in and talk to the stream.
Water Pop says he has to go get the kids to bed. Got to keep up the good, but you need to keep up the good work. He'll try to log on my laptop, but we'll have to lurk.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Water Pop.
Thanks for hanging out and talking for a while.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if Water Pop was a he or not.
I actually don't know.
Well, if not, there was no corrections made, so.
We're going to be sued. Canadian Mounties will come down from the north and arrest us for misgendering.
Well, that would be a good way for them to get holes put in them. Because, you know, this is in Canada.
Yeah. They send their special
And they
forces.
want to come and arrest me, but this is in Canada. Did Water Pop say they were from Canada?
No,
I was just wondering because, like, I haven't actually been looking at the chat, so I don't know.
No, it's just
matter of fact, I've been looking at the reference and haven't even been looking at all. Now I'm gonna glance over to see how this is looking on screen. It's looking pretty good.
I'm digging it.
Guess I'm gonna mute for a second.
All right.
Could be worse. Could be like, I don't know. That night I blew my nose super loud and then remembered, oh yeah, maybe I should mute this.
Yeah, it could be worse. I told Eli you were asking if he had plans for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so he said, hang on, I'll come talk to Brett.
Cool.
Go say mom.
What's up?
Go say mom.
So he
What?
thinks he's going to the job site tomorrow.
Oh, you're going to the job site?
Call 55 way.
It's going to be cold, 55 degrees.
I wish it was 55 degrees. That'd be nice.
That's a Monday holiday on Tuesday, so.
Yeah, he knows because Brett's a teacher, so
She worked for you there, so?
Yeah, different school.
What, she from?
Different school.
I keep telling you, he's in Indiana, but
Yeah, I think it was like 20 degrees today. I mean, it was. Oh,
it was warm here, but it was so rainy that it was destructive.
oh yeah. So I think you're just. I mean, it makes sense, but you're gonna get what we have now, like tomorrow.
Well, I don't know, because the winds tend to gather everything up to this corner of the United States anyway.
Oh yeah.
And usually it's all the shit from all the rest of the states. But I think you guys get a lot more lake effect snow and we don't get any, but like the ocean was trying to reclaim half the coast around here. It's torn down, lighthouses, bridges, buildings. That's why I was saying that there's a chance that we could lose power, because we've lost power pretty much every time that there was any kind of storm around.
Yeah, I was worried last night because the wind was picking up here, something fierce, and like there were like warnings and stuff about the wind, and I was like, just don't let the power go out. It'll be cool.
That's like the worst for you, but we do what we gotta do, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah, because him having no internet and no lights.
Not too good.
No, not good at all.
See, I like to sleep with a fan on, and if the fan's on, I can sleep through just about anything. But my goodness, you take that fan off, it's like, just counting down every minute till daylight.
It used to be like that, not so much anymore. But I'm on blood thinners, so that significantly changes the amount of hot and cold I've got. I'm really psyched that I wanted to come talk to you. Like,
cool.
When I first started streaming, he didn't want to do anything, but he did do like one stream with me early on. He's not one that normally is talkative, unless he really knows you, but I guess you've gotten to a point where he knows you and trusts you enough.
Well, I'm streaming.
I like it, so, I like it.
That's cool. I like it.
He's expanding himself. Oh, yeah. It's the little details that get you.
What's wrong? Yep. Well, you're not. Can I go over that video? No. Calm down, hell. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He's no fun, is he?
No.
He's no fun, is he?
Can I go inside with you first? Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll let you know how that goes.
Thought you were getting away with something, didn't you? she asked Eli if she could go swinging on the swings and whatever, and he's like, nope. She's like, well, can I go look at the stars? He's like, yep. He goes outside and she's like, figures, there aren't any. How those stars looking?
I like them. Like,
Hey,
a lot.
I'm really close to them, so it's kind of hard to make a judgment call on some of it.
No, I think your schools are looking great.
Music just got real quiet, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. That was close.
No dog tonight?
Well, she's curled up in a ball, and I don't have any food, and I think she's too cold to do anything else. So, like, she likes to be near me, but I also know it's warmer downstairs.
She
And
don't
I know
say it.
she does not have a lot of fur. I mean, I named her Biscuits because she looked like sausage gravy, and you could see like the gray spots on her skin through her fur, and her fur is white. So, I mean, she really has very thin fur. So she gets cold, and we have like sweaters for her, but she hates them. I'm like, dog, you're shivering. Let us put something on, but you know, whatever. But she will climb underneath the blankets with me. Like, she'll just completely crawl underneath the blankets and be my little furnace. And I think that's fantastic.
Just like a kid, right?
Yeah. If I could get her to lay down at my feet so my feet would stay warm, she'd be the ultimate dog.
Okay. Take the eraser a little bit.
I'm kind of surprised I haven't gotten a visit from the hamster.
The hamster.
Yeah, Thaddeus likes to bring him in here just so I can put him up to the camera.
Trying to get him so that he's not camera shy when he does a show.
I don't know. I mean,
Or is that not the one that's...
no, that's the one, but he doesn't want to be on camera. But it's
Gotta
kinda
call him
funny.
on it every single time that he shows up.
I should. Well, later on, I'll tell you more about his social media endeavors. Because one of them's brilliant. I love the fact that he's doing it. But it's got to be a secret. So I can't tell you online. Just in case any of my students actually did subscribe and stay subscribed and or for some weird, freakish reason watching. Actually, the other day, it's kind of nice. So, for some reason, there's this kid 7th period who he drew a house on my chalkboard. Like, all right, whatever. And he's been adding little parts to it, building up the whole picture. And he had drawn mountains behind it and stuff, so I drew Godzilla behind him, like climbing up the mountains. And he thought that was pretty good. But then Friday he was drawing something, and I just went up. He stayed after class to draw it, and so I drew just a real simple flying saucer on the board, like sucking people up from the house. And he was like, it was very nice of him. He could be just completely blowing smoke up my butt, but he's like, wow, that was really good. Like, that's like even, and it's like proportional. And I'm it's like, well, thanks. He's like, I don't know. He was just kind of impressed that I just went up and just, because most people when they draw, especially on the chalkboard, especially the first time, are just doing these little strokes. And I just went up, just, I don't know, just did it without any other, just basically 2 lines.
You pulled the Bob Ross on him.
Yeah. Well, it's chalk, man. If I screw it up, who cares?
Yeah, right.
There was a show decades ago, because I'm pretty sure it was on when I was in high school. It was these 2 designers, and they would design stuff, and I remember one time one of them was talking about how she thought it was ridiculous that people would draw on their walls. She's like, it's paint. Just paint it. If you don't like it, paint over it. And that stuck with me for some odd reason. So yeah, when I was like taking painting in college, I'm just like, I see people are going there and they're trying to draw on their canvases and stuff, and I'm just like, and just start painting. I'm like, oh, it's
Some
paint.
people can do that. Some people can't. I'm not,
Well,
not really big on jumping right into that stuff either. Like I should be by now, but I'm not.
I figure if you do a sketch to look off of, which we did in college, we'd do a sketch first, and like, I don't know why you have to transfer it. It's just paint. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, yeah.
Also, out of the 2 of us, look who's still doing art and who's not. So, there's that.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything. I'm not making any claims. I'm just saying, my method,
Your process.
Yeah, my process. It's just, I have to have too much control. I've got to learn to get past that. That's actually what I'm trying to do. One of the things I'm trying to do with being online and doing what I'm doing is to get over to having to control every little bit of it. I'm going to be erasing a line yet. This one right here. Starting off with too light of a value. Let's try. You finished that book?
Holly? No.
Somehow, I was going to guess that you were going to say no.
Well, it's like typical problem. I can, I'm a pretty decently fast reader, but I can't ever stand to sit still and read for very long unless it's a really, really good book. And while this one isn't bad, it does have that annoying habit of just pissing me off every few pages. And really, the only reason why I'm reading it, well, that's not true. It's good enough that I'm intrigued by the story. It's actually something where I can say, hey, I think I actually wrote this story years ago, but I never got to sell it. But it's slightly different, but the concept literally is the concept that the book is about. So it kind of makes me, I don't know, chuckle. Because, we, as aspiring writers, we tend to worry about copying other artists. And so then when you see that some other, some big name writer has basically done a concept that you thought up, long before, it's kind of an interesting turn of events. But, he's definitely doing it in a way that's different than I did it. But, I'm pretty much just reading it to see if he's lying to the reader and the audience, which is weird because, he's a fiction writer. Of course he's lying, but...
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into that. That was just,
I have a feeling he has lied to the audience about the necessity for the political stuff that's in there. And, if you're going to do it and stand by it, I guess. Or it's very, you can do it, stand by it, and then later on, you can't, and I'm okay. You don't have to be, if you write something in your 20s, when you're in your 40s or your 60s, you don't have to sit there and be like, well, yeah, I still believe whatever stupid, idiotic thing I believed in my 20s. I can forgive people, that kind of stuff, but if you're going to add that crap in and then try to say that it was necessary for the plot, it had better be necessary for the plot. Otherwise, you're lying, you're trying to hedge your bets and just, try to ride the fence a little bit. And I have no respect for that.
I have a friend that was reading fairy tale, and she probably is more aligned with his thinking.
Yeah.
Anyway, but she stopped reading because it was hundreds of pages and nothing's going on.
Oh.
And that's actually why I stopped reading Stephen King a long time ago. I read 150 pages of Bag of Bones, and it wasn't anything. The only thing that I can tell you about that 150 pages, and you go read them and see if I'm wrong, is that he got hit by a van, and he don't know if he'll be able to write again, but he keeps some, scripts in his drawer.
That's the one. I'm pretty certain Bag of Bones is one that I picked. There are two Stephen King. No, that's not true. There are three. There are three Stephen King books that I started and then never finished. One was Gerald's Game, because I didn't care.
Right. Plus, there's nothing going on for most of that.
Yeah. Well, I read a big chunk of it because my mom said I wasn't allowed to read it, and
right.
I wanted to know why, so I read it when she was in bed. And I read up enough they were like, oh, that's why she doesn't want me reading this. Okay, whatever, I don't care. And then I didn't read any more of it.
Now that I know.
Yeah, now that I know what she finds objectionable, I'm okay because it's nothing I care about. So that was one. I'm Dreamcatcher is another one I couldn't finish. But that was more me. That's my fault, not him. There's just stuff in that book that it wasn't healthy for me to read about. We decided, I don't need to know this. It wasn't good for my mental health. So I was like, I don't blame the writer. I don't think the writer's a bad person. I don't think the writer did anything to me. I simply said, oh, wow, I'm having a negative mental reaction to this. It's real easy to close the book and put it away. And that's what I did. But Bag of Bones, I'm pretty certain I started that one, and I realized, oh, this is a romance novel, and threw it away. Well, I didn't throw it away, but I just closed it and put it away.
Didn't even, didn't even get anything was going on. He was going to go out to a house on the lake. That was about it, and all that time.
Well,
nothing was achieved.
Now that book is quite it's several decades old now, isn't it? And
I don't think it's several decades old. Maybe a couple. Maybe a decade and a half. Maybe a decade and a half. I don't think it's that old. But I don't know. The older I get, the less old I think other stuff is.
It's 25 years old. So, yeah. They can rent a car.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm still not.
But anyway.
But
when if forgive
I
me
would
if
have
I
not
get some
bought it
details wrong.
hardback anyway. So.
Well, forgive me if I get some details slightly wrong, especially because I'm pretty certain I didn't finish that one. But yeah, the protagonist is a writer, right?
Most of the time.
Yeah, but it is in that one.
Yeah, it is at the beginning anyway. Because I don't know, I thought the idea was like a ghost story that took place at this cabin.
Yeah,
I never got to the cabin, so
But I quickly saw, because there's a woman, and there's in that town, there's a woman who I'm pretty certain is the love interest of the protagonist eventually. But so this woman is having problems with this big important guy, whatever, in the town. And the writer is the interloper who has the funds. So he's wealthy enough that the guy can't push him around. And I was like, oh, this is a romance novel. It's a Hallmark film. I mean, literally, you have a woman who's bothered by some big giant rich guy. So she goes for the slightly less rich guy. I don't know. I just didn't care for it. I mean, I just saw that. I was like, because that's a big, thick one too.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, I don't need to slog through this. I mean, I'm pretty good about normally finishing. I normally think Stephen King novels are normally decent enough to finish. Like I said, there's only been 3 that I just said, like I started and said no. But
yeah, and I have a different count.
Well, that's fine.
I know at least one of them you liked and read, and I didn't make it through.
Oh, that was Dark Tower series, though.
Nope, that's not what I was talking about.
Did you finish the Dark Tower series?
Nope.
There you go. I love that one.
That's okay, but that's not the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
Honestly, I only read the first of the Dark Tower series and the part of the second book enough to know that I didn't get into it. I had problems that I shouldn't have had with it. But anyway, The Stand, uncut.
Oh yeah, you didn't like that, and I did.
I just couldn't even make it till anything was going on. So, that's a no for me if I can't if I can't make it anywhere, if I can't achieve anything. I liked the movie, so I wanted to. My daughter bought me the unabridged one.
Yeah.
So So I was like, oh yeah, cool. But I could definitely see where the extra 300 pages or whatever they took out of it came from.
Yeah, but so like I remember my father getting the unabridged one for I think it was Christmas one year, and we already had the original. So I'd seen them both, and I think I read them both relatively quickly together, and
I might have liked the original, but like when I started reading it, it was with whatever they had put back in there.
Yeah.
And a lot of what they put back in was that super long beginning.
There was a scene that I'm pretty certain they added back in where, because it's a character that it's like one chapter and she dies by herself and it doesn't do anything other than the fact that, and it's one of my favorite parts of the book, really, but it doesn't move the plot forward at all. It's just there to show you people dying. Hey, Dan Shea says, evening, gentlemen, and picture looks badass.
Hey, Dan.
But I just remember the character being like, everyone else in her apartment building has died, and she's okay with that because she hates people, and she had stuff, like she had a big freezer, and she walks into her freezer, and the door shuts behind her, and she gets trapped inside with no way out, so she dies. And I just thought that, I just really liked that chapter.
Okay.
Dan is watching the Dolphins versus Chiefs game, but thought he'd pop in.
Oh, very cool.
My students keep asking me who I'm rooting for in various sports, and they always get disappointed when I'm like, I don't care. They're like, is there no sport that you want to watch? And I was like, women's beach volleyball.
Oh, CFL or women's football.
Oh, the lingerie league? I've watched some of that just because I was like, no, wait. It may look like they have lingerie on, but they've got to be wearing hose or something. That was literally my thought. I was like,
you'd think they'd have to be wearing some protective gear, but okay, if they don't want to, I'm not going to make them.
They're just being hit by girls. Someone's going to hate me now.
Hit by girls with helmets.
Yeah. They got helmets on. They have shoulder pads.
They don't have helmets on their fucking guts. You get speared in the stomach or in the ribs with a helmet, and they're wearing bathing suits, elbow pads.
Some girls are into that. Who knows?
Hey, like I said, if they don't want to wear safety gear, I'm not going to make them.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't be doing that shit.
Aaron said that I watched for the articles.
Right. I'm taking it's not the ifs and ands that he's talking about.
Probably not. Oh.
But I can't blame him.
Well, it's just some of that started popping up on my Facebook feed, like ads for it. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever, scrolling through. And my wife saw it. What are you looking at? I'm like, this, I just, my wife knows the password to my phone. My wife can look at my phone whenever she wants. She can look at my Facebook feed. I don't care because there ain't nothing there. Dan says he only started watching football somewhat recently. I never cared about it for the majority of my life. Yeah, I like watching.
Because I used to watch football and I stopped watching football recently when they started putting politics on it and they started breaking the rules for politically acceptable bullshit.
Yeah.
The rules are when the anthem plays, you have to hold your helmet under your arm and your hand over your heart, facing towards the flag. And ever since, that shit started about taking a knee and all that taking a knee insults all the people that fought and died for this country. It doesn't insult all the corrupt cops. That's just crazy bullshit excuse to fucking violate, and it's standard rules of the game. But when they started doing that, and then they started doing the black national anthem before the national anthem, I was done. Like, I don't care if you want to have a separate whatever, but this is the national anthem, and we should all be united. That's the whole point. It's not a color thing at all. And I love that they try to use the second verse of the national anthem to show that it's racist, but the actual comments that are in that seem racist are basically based towards Germans. It was the Hessians that were left behind. So it's just all crap.
Dan says he never sees anyone taking a knee anymore. I haven't seen any of that stuff. Yeah.
Well, that might be true, but
yeah, I think they may have finally gotten the message that maybe that's a bad idea, but I think it's done a lot of damage to the league.
Yeah, it burned me, for sure. I think it was disrespectful, and I think half that shit was bullshit because these are people that are being paid millions of dollars to play a fucking game. How can you bitch about how the state of the country is in when you're being paid $1 million to fucking play a game? Millions of dollars, It's crazy.
Well, that's because Colin Kaepernick or whatever his name was basically out of a job. He had to make himself.
What's that?
He basically needed a reason to be, some kind of relevancy, because he wasn't good enough to really play.
Well, see, the thing is that he was supposed to be good enough to play. He just, it was, probably exactly it. They wanted to be relevant in some way he wasn't. Mm-hmm. But a damn shame. It was enough to drive me away from the sport because people were backing that play. And that was a shitty play. Like, I can't even see how he had any kind of justification behind it either, because, like I said, he was adopted by a white family. He got every privilege that you could probably expect or want. He had certainly more privileges than I did, and I'm a white guy, so I'm supposed to be privileged, right?
Oh, you are. You are.
Yeah, I don't know how, but okay. So yeah, like it didn't appear to me that he was in solidarity with anybody. You'd have to be, I don't know, for you to be in solidarity with somebody like that, you'd have to be as oppressed. And I'm not saying there's no oppression going on, but there ain't anywhere near as much of oppression there used to be. We've made giant strides towards eliminating a lot of that shit before we had a black president. Because, you know, if we hadn't eliminated any prejudice, we wouldn't have voted for a black president. That would have been a prejudice thing, right?
You'd think.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe my reasoning's off. But, like, if somebody gave me millions of dollars of free education, all the stuff that I could pretty much want, I don't think I'd be, shitting on them. I don't think it'd be a fucking cool idea. Oppressed is oppressed, but that's not oppression. I love the people that think that they know what oppression is when they want us to turn into a country that oppresses their people. I just don't get it. But that's why I stopped watching the NFL, because that's all it did for me, was remind me that there were so many ingrates out there getting paid way more than I was getting paid, and I'm not an ingrate. Shit, I'd die out on the field, but I'd be getting paid $1 million and I'd die for it, I'd be earning my money. Or doing everything I could possibly do to see if I can pull this, just the lid off. Normally, I don't have to go over the blacks because they don't usually blend for me, but now they blended for me and it looks weird.
Okay.
I can have it looking weird if that's what I intended it to do. But, yeah, if it's not what I intended. I mentioned I hate politics.
It ruins everything.
Fucking ruins everything. You read The Rivers of London?
The Rivers of what?
London.
I'm
guessing no, because
I'm gonna guess no.
What I'm talking about, It's Ben Aronovich, and it's fantasy. It's kind of like Harry Potter meets serial killer. Kind of.
I actually think I have that on my Kindle. I just haven't read it yet.
So, it's pretty interesting. Like, I'm on the second book right now. Almost done with the second book. And it's a great example of how to write a character of color without it being just a character of color. Like, it's totally relevant that he's a character of the colors he is. There is some plays on. I think they're almost more making fun of some of the stereotyping that goes along with this whole political stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he did it in such a clever way that whatever side of whatever stance you're taking, you're not going to be really offended. Unless you're just a super, super offensive type. Or offended type. Pretty clever. It's got great attitude, great character. I don't feel like I'm reading about a black cop because he's a black cop. I'm reading about a cop that just happens to be.
Yeah.
The rivers of London are gods and goddesses. But it's kind of a fun play on a constable that's like in a very, very limited numbered magic department. The first book is how he gets in and how he learns what he learns. But they're not overly long books. The character's got a pretty good voice. Plus, I'm listening to it on an audiobook, so the person reading it's got a pretty good voice too.
That helps.
And I'm going to guess that it is the same ethnicity. And it lends credence to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of times I have a hard time getting past all the message crap. And if there's really message crap in these books, I really haven't noticed it. So he just writes a genuinely good character. your fun little reads. Did you see Ethan and Skyler do a critique of Eric July's ISOM #1?
No.
Yeah, that was last night. It was interesting.
Why?
Well, he pretty much tore the book apart. Like, when I say tore the book apart, I mean broke it down to obviously what its flaws were, but broke it down as comic book relevancy goes. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
why the panels are drawn the way they're drawn, why the, you know, the importance of what panels should be what. Like, a splash page shouldn't just be a random splash page. It should be a very important page. And so on, that kind of thing.
Okay.
There was a few laughs along the way. I'm sure that there'll be a retaliation for it, though.
How does that work? Are like on YouTube? Like, I've seen other channels that'll show like basically they're reading the comic book and they're showing you the comic book, but they'll like delete the words, which I always thought was weird. But
well, you can't read the whole comic book, but you can critique some of it. That's fair use.
Okay.
And that's what he did. He, you know, did a few pages here, skipped a few, did a couple more pages, and then skipped a few more. That was how he went about it. He purposely didn't do them all. But there's not really a story there. I mean, I've read it, I own it, I bought it. And there isn't, like, he keeps things vague that, you know, as a writer, we know you don't keep things vague for the sake of keeping things vague.
Right.
You keep things vague because somebody doesn't know the answer. Not because you don't want the audience to know the answer. Because the audience is buying it to know the answer.
Yeah.
But if you read the whole entire initial first comic book and don't know what it's about, that's gonna get you. And he broke a lot of that kind of stuff down. And I thought he was very genuine about the way he did a lot of that stuff. I mean, he did joke here and there, but it wasn't like he wasn't joking at Eric's expense. He was just joking about stuff that he wanted to lighten the mood or whatever. But he did. I thought he was very genuine about why you're upfront about stuff and the importance of, like, when you're telling a story, that you don't keep what the story is a secret, especially in a comic book, because that's exactly what you want to do, is grab the reader right off. You want to hook them. We know that from prose writing, we want to hook our reader right off. But he did a lot of vague stuff, and his hero doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to go be a hero. He's presenting it like he could care less about this girl that's missing, that he's asked by his sister to go find. And even though there is a character that is set up to be like a minor bad guy, he's basically set up to be like he's a drug lord or a pimp or whatever. The dude doesn't do anything wrong, and Iceland is fighting him, beating his dudes, and it does look like he kills a couple of dudes because he doesn't like being insulted by that guy, right? There's no reason to escalate to the level he escalates to. He could have just peaceably left if he didn't like what the dude was doing or saying or whatever. It doesn't send the message that he's a hero. This is a hero, how a hero behaves. Just found it interesting that he broke it down on those levels. Decisions. I can adjust a little bit, but pretty much got to get the values right. So if you get a chance to watch that, there's at least one part that literally had me laugh out loud. I can give it away for anyone that wants to watch it. Well, solid advice if Eric is watching and actually wants to take it.
Yeah.
About how to construct pictures, like how to construct storytelling artwork.
Yeah.
And I think it's a pretty valuable lesson if anyone wanted to watch it, to learn how to make a comic book before, you make your big mistakes trying to make a comic book.
I'm assuming this was on YouTube.
Yep.
Okay.
Ethan's channel is Comic Artist Pro Secrets. So he didn't want to actually do a critique on it,
Yeah.
but with all the drama that's going on, his audience wanted him to, and he's like, I'll tell you what, because he didn't think it was going to happen. He's like, if you super chat me $1,000 in one episode, then I will. And guess what? So he's basically getting $1,000 to critique it, which would be insane not to do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's too bad that there's a rift that came up between them. I don't blame Ethan for the rift. He was trying to give good advice and basically getting told not to, and threatened that if he was gonna do whatever, that was gonna be reciprocated, which he wasn't really doing anything, but it was taken that way.
Oh, I tried to mute that. Couldn't reach the button in time.
It's alright, everybody sneezes in this cold season.
Yeah, I just didn't have enough advance warning.
I've been sneezing all night. So,
Well, my wife's working on the walls downstairs, or she did earlier this afternoon. And what it is they put up paneling, and they use liquid nails, like a ton of it, to put the paneling up. And so my wife does it because it's an old house. It's plaster and lath with like basically cement on it, I swear. So she doesn't want to tear off the walls, and she doesn't want to put drywall on top of it. So she has to get rid of all that old liquid nails. And so she uses a heat gun and scrapes it up little bit by little bit. That's fun and all, except for it messes with my allergies and my asthma. So like my ears are all itchy, and pretty certain this runny nose is because of that. And like, it's got to get done. I have no problem. I can't do it. I can't be in the room. But when it's done, she will have saved me a ton of money and made the house look a heck of a lot better. And I figure it's worth a little discomfort.
well, only you could decide that. So.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of people are like, why don't you just put up furring strips and put up drywall? And my wife doesn't want to deal with the drywall. I was like, all right, fine. The paneling was ugly. Like, she tore off she had help, but our stairwell is actually the first thing that she worked on, really. There was a landing upstairs outside all the bathroom and the bedrooms, and then the walls going down the stairs to the entryway. Took off all that paneling, painted all that up. Looks great. But I had to paint part of the wall because it's above our stairs and there's really no way of reaching it. And yeah, it's, I wedged a ladder in. It's like there was no way this ladder was going to move. But you get up that high, and if you look down one way, it's like, well, it's only like a 3-foot drop to the second floor, or it's a much bigger drop to the first floor. So just fun times painting. And my wife is terrified of heights, so she's not doing it. I'm like, that's fine. I'll do it. So I think at one point I got my son to help me out. So they're at that age where they're, big enough to be
At
useful.
one point.
Well, some of the stuff is just like it was killing. Oh God, this ladder. We bought a ladder. It's one of those ones that folds up, and God, that thing is terrible on your feet. Oh God, it's terrible on your feet. So I couldn't do it for very long. So my son went up and did some, and then I would go up and do some, and just getting stuff set, filling in holes and all that kind of stuff before we painted. But whatever, it's done now. No, there's a painting of mine from when I was in high school. That's up in my mom's house, and we're trying to figure out how to steal it back.
Well, what do you want to steal it back for?
Because it would be perfect right in my stairwell. And I have a velvet.
Go paint it again.
Yeah, I have a velvet panther painting that I can swap it out for and see how long it takes her to notice. So.
Well, is it a panther painting you're swapping it out for?
No, not at all. It's like inside a church.
I think you should just repaint it, then.
Well, I mean, there's problem is, I mean, it's a size canvas I'd have to make myself, which obviously I did it the first time. I can do it again. I mean, I've made my own canvases before, but it's an odd
watercolor?
size. What?
It's watercolor?
No, it's oil.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's an oil painting.
Okay, because you were telling me that you were a watercolor painter, so I didn't know you had
went dark.
No,
Okay. But I think you're frozen. Oh, there you're gone. Okay.
Didn't know you were an oil painter as well. Did you mute yourself?
No, it went dark. Like you went dark, I went dark. It was just spinning, and then it came back, and then you were just frozen. So no, I am not mute.
No, I didn't know because you weren't talking. I was talking to you.
No, well, it went dark.
Okay. Did you not hear me?
I don't know. Did you ask me a question? I thought I've heard you.
I said that I didn't know you were an oil painter because you told me you were a watercolor painter.
Oh, I've done
I
both.
didn't realize that you painted oils as well.
I've done them, but that's probably the least. Oil painting is the thing I had the least amount of experience in. I've taken one class I took one class in high school that I got to that in at Ball State. I was taking an oil painting class, and it was fine, but I would not say I don't know. Like I know certain things, and I know other. I would be a novice, but.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Well, I'm not looking at the screen.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty certain I've always told you if I'm leaving.
Well, unless you got kicked off by
Or I mute myself.
connectivity issues, or
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on because I'm not looking. So this is a 9. I didn't actually been calling them out. I haven't actually been telling people what I've been using. I'm using a set of neutral grays Copics that go from N0 to N10, 110.
Okay, so when you're coloring right now.
This is N10.
Okay, but when you're actually doing it, it makes the boobs on your tattoo jiggle.
Yes and no. That's why I got the tattoo where I got the tattoo. She dances.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Things I'm surprised you didn't know about me.
Well, I mean, I've always known. I mean, not always known because I didn't always knew you, but I mean, I've seen the tattoo plenty of times, and no big deal. But then when
You've seen me color with Copics too. When I tattoo, it was like this too, like so. that was.
Normally it's not as much of. Normally, it's more of your hand that's in frame, not your forearm. So.
Well, because I'm short and I have to reach across this whole page. Anybody offended by my naked chick dancing? She wasn't supposed to be naked either, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
That was the result of one tattoo artist doing what the hell he wanted to do instead of what I asked him to. Are we surprised?
Oh.
Crazy Gunslinger spawn.
What? Oh, the gerbil?
We're about to get a guest, I think.
This is a little cowboy hat. If he'll keep it on.
I don't know if it'll stay on.
Try to put it on his noggin.
Here we go. And he's wearing a cowboy hat, or he was.
So where's your puppet, man?
One earlier.
He can't hear. I got headphones in.
Oh. Well, tell him I said, where's his puppet? Where's Bonar? We need a Bonar appearance.
Rich said he wants a Bonar appearance.
At
Wait,
my age, you take
what are you asking my kid for?
My age, take what you can get.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Because I know he knows his secret identity.
Yeah. Oh, Lord. Yeah. These, I swear, our animals, they're abused. Because Thaddeus will just, like, pick them up and, like, move their arms around and have them dance. And you can just see the animals are just like, please stop.
Right? Please stop.
Don't do that. I hate you. Please stop. I will kill you in your sleep. And, you know, he's just there dancing around.
Like,
and booping him on the nose and all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, God, kid.
one like Donald Duck with the abominable snowman.
Yeah, pretty much. I used to share that clip whenever I was teaching of Mice and Men.
Oh, Eli loves that. You look good now, George.
Yeah.
I love that.
I was a little disappointed. My doctor retired, so I had to get a new one, and I had my first visit with him, and he'd never heard of, well, he had never read of Mice and Men. I mean, he's heard of it, but he's never read it. And so I was wearing a shirt.
Are you sure he's even a real doctor now?
I don't know. And I'm wearing this shirt that said,
I don't believe you, Doc.
George Milton's shooting range, bring a friend. Because George Milton, that's George, and then he shoots Lenny at the end. Spoiler alert.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Now I've got to stop reading it.
That's one of the few books I read straight through. Never took a break. Of course, it's only like 98 pages long, so...
Yeah, I did that with Eaters of the Dead.
I've got, the George Milton shooting range shirt, and I also got one that's, Lenny Smalls, chiropractor and petting zoo. So, just all kinds of fun, dark humor. That is not as rough as Lenny is. Thad plays with them. Occasionally he'll shoot them out of paper towel tubes. That's fun. Hamster loves it too. Like, because his butt's big enough, he'll crawl in, and then Thaddeus will just, like go over the bed and just go and shoot the hamster out. It'll land on the bed. He'll put the tube down, and it runs right back and wants another ride. So I thought that was absolutely hilarious. He came in and he was, you know how some people get when they're laughing too much, like they can't breathe and they're trying to talk and all that. That was Thaddeus, and trying to show what he could do. One of my students last week left a pretty good collection of Copic markers in my room. And I was like, really? Like, I was thinking score. Yeah, she came back for him. I was like, oh, okay.
That's a costly.
I was thinking, why do you have these at school? Like, that's just crazy. But,
In
you know,
an art program?
What?
Art program, maybe?
Well, I guess, except for, yeah, they're not going to require people to own their own like that. There's no way.
I don't know. Like, we had a kind of small art program, and if we wanted to do airbrush or whatever, we had to have our own airbrush.
Well, okay.
They didn't have an airbrush to teach us on.
I mean, it's one of those things where, again, it's if you want to do it, but if they were going to require it, that'd be kind of pricey.
Well, yeah, I didn't say
Although, I mean, I guess
required it like that, but I'm just saying, like, maybe that's what they wanted to use. Copics are designer markers, so I mean, there are other brands.
Yeah, I know.
Of alcohol markers.
Yeah, because we got Thaddeus Oahu ones.
Yeah, there's Oahu, and then there's there's a couple other ones.
The Oahu ones, I mean, I looked them up. I mean, I was looking up different ones for him because I thought he'd like it. And for the price point especially, they had the best reviews.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that like them. There are things that, I don't know, I like Copics. I've worked well with them. I've seen some stuff in the Wahoos that aren't as good as Copics, but I think it's depending on what you're using them for. For instance, I use neutral grays, but there's cool grays and then there's other grays. So if you're not specifically trying to use neutral grays or whatever, you might have a better experience with some of the cheaper ones.
Aaron said, and I agree with him, that he had to buy his own colored pencils in art class in high school. And you're right. In fact, I think I actually bought extra packs just because buying them through the school was the cheapest way to buy them. But they also weren't, I mean, some of those markers get really expensive. And the colored pencils that we got were not the most expensive kind at all. Not from what I've seen. In fact, because I still use those in college, and the professors they'd accept it, but they'd be like, yeah, these aren't the best quality of I'm like, that's great. It's still like $2 a pencil, and you know, I'm having to buy 5 of this one color.
Yeah, I like Prismacolors when I use colored pencils.
Yeah.
But not everybody can afford them. And I guess there's two different Prismacolor colored pencils.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, there's Premier and the regular ones.
Yeah. I just... God,
Yeah,
I mean,
so I like them because, like, the consistency.
yeah.
And you can with any colored pencil, but with Prismacolors, you get a little bit maybe different of a result if you break down the wax with like say fingernail polish remover or baby oil or rubbing alcohol. You can break down the wax and blend the colored pencils better. And obviously, the better the make of colored pencils like that, the better the results when you're blending like that.
You ever watch the cartoon Pirates of Darkwater?
Yep.
Okay, so my son gets in my car and he asked me that. He said, "Have you ever seen Pirates of Darkwater?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. Good show." And he said that one of his teachers had said that it was like He-Man on steroids on the water. And I'm like, no. just no. I mean, I was like, it's a pirate show, and you know, it's
kind of like Sinbad if he was blonde.
well, yeah. I was like, because one of his teachers is also the sponsor of the Tabletop Gaming Club, which basically is D&D, and my son was thinking about making a pirate campaign, and so this teacher, who's a friend of mine, had recommended Pirates of Darkwater, and which is kind of funny because I ran a campaign like that once. So yeah, that's absolutely what I would go to. I was like, that's a great idea, and it's a good show. So, well, at least it was when I watched it when it was on. You know, that's one of those
mentioning
things.
Something like that last time we were on. We were talking about shows that we had watched as kids, and I was going to mention. Well, when I was a kid, I really, really loved Thundar the Barbarian.
Yeah.
But to watch it as an adult, it's not what it was when you were a kid.
It's a cool concept. It's just that'd be a show I'd love to see remade. You know, keep all the concept, just raise the level of storytelling.
Raise the level of storytelling, raise the
consistency.
It's
like
not
the one
really
episode
so
where
much
Thundar has to recharge his sword.
Well, we don't know how long it took for him to have to recharge his sword,
I know, but there was just stuff that was just weird. Like you'd see it in one episode, you'd never see it again, and it's just like
right. Because it was only important for the one episode. There's only like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like I have them all, but yeah. And he was really, if you think about it, Thundar was really, really cheesy. Like,
yeah, it was.
As far as him himself goes, I like the idea of what I know what they were doing. The idea was that they were gonna take Star Wars and turn it into basically fantasy fiction. So it was Rukla was Chewbacca and
Right.
Ariel was Princess Leia. And Thundar was supposed to be a combination of Luke and Han Solo, but he was quite a bit dumber than that.
Yeah. I still like the aesthetic of it. I mean, just the ideas.
I do, and I love the idea of mixing fantasy and sci-fi.
Yeah.
Which is really what it did, and post-apocalyptic. And I think my love for the post-apocalyptic came from watching Thundar when I was young.
Could be.
But yeah, once you actually start breaking down the plots, there's some dumbass plots.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the same way with like Thundercats. There's like, I mean, I love
yeah,
watching
that's what
it.
you were talking about last time, and it was all right. Thundercats was all right for me. It was not a great cartoon ever to me. I didn't like the remake. I understand it was more sophisticated or whatever, but
yeah,
it really wasn't Thundercats though. Thundercats, the whole point of Thundercats was kind of like Battlestar Galactica. They had to be someplace else. So that really didn't work for me. I know it worked for you. It worked for a lot of people. That's like He-Man. Like, I watched He-Man, but I never really took He-Man seriously. By then, I've been reading Conan, and I knew it was kind of a generic Conan-esque story.
Well, again, what those three things have in common, though, still, okay, there's a sword in all of them, but also they blend fantasy with science fiction. I mean, like, there's definitely, like, there's androids and robots in He-Man.
Yeah, right. And the vehicles.
Right.
Which are really, those vehicles make no sense if you think about that too.
Oh yeah, all kinds of stupid. But again, they blend fantasy with science fiction, and that to me is pretty darn fun. I mean, you could argue that Star Wars blended science fiction with fantasy because there are plenty of people.
Absolutely did too, until they started trying to turn the fantasy aspect into science.
Yeah.
Which is where they went wrong with it.
Yeah.
I think that the strength was it had enough fantasy to have that sense of wonder. And then when you started destroying that sense of wonder, what was the point, you know?
Yeah. And I'm really trying to think, like, all three of those have a very loose, soft magic system. All four of those, if you want to include the Force, or Star Wars. So I kind of wonder if there's, like, a certain point, like a ratio almost, where if you're going to blend science fiction and fantasy, you know, like, Star Wars did not work when it tried to get harder science fiction.
Right.
And then it just has completely gone off the rails. Thundar never even attempted to pretend like it was hard at all. But
no,
with Star Wars,
Thundar, so for me, thinking about Thundar like that, I don't think I don't think it could have really a hard magic system because Thundar was a barbarian and he didn't understand the magic. He relied on Ariel to do that.
Right, but when you listen,
Ariel would have known it, but he wouldn't have known it. And if we're watching it from his point of view,
Right.
Of
But
course, that's not all the time anyway. But
Brandon Sanderson talks a lot about hard magic systems, and then David Wolverton was, that was that. I mean, you were there. That was that. He replied to my comment about, because he was always like, the reader needs to understand the rules of magic, and I said that completely backfired with Star Wars. The more vague it was, the better it was. However, I still think Star Wars proves a point, because some of the stuff they did in the sequels was not, it was so far away from what we had seen, and it was okay by, I guess, video game standard, but that teleporting lightsaber thing they did was like, what? Like, they develop it in that film, but it's so random. And it's just, I'm like, ugh. So I guess there are some rules you kind of want to establish with what can be done with the Force, but I don't think we ever need to know how the Force worked.
Brandon Sanderson never claimed that you have to have a hard system. He likes
I know.
systems. What he claimed was your ability to solve the story problem with magic, or the ultimate, save the day with magic ultimately, is directly dependent on the reader's understanding how that magic works. And he's not saying you have to, it's just saying if you're going to use that, the readers need to understand how that magic works, because if they don't understand what difficulties there could be in using that magic system or that spell or whatever. Like, I'm sure you read Mistborn, right?
Yeah.
So Mistborn has a very unique and established magic system.
Yep.
And because we understand that magic system so well, we understand that certain metals allow you to push something unless that something weighs more than you, that it pushes you, right?
Right.
So there's a kind of logic to it. So now that we understand that if you can push, you can only push up to your own weight. So if something is solved by pushing, it can't be to something that's more than their own weight, because then that's not the understanding we have, and you'll be cheating us.
Right.
So I guess what I'm trying to clarify is that it's for the reader's sake, not for the magic's sake. It's for clarity's sake, so that we can understand how that magic works and know its limitations as it relates to the story. Like, if there's more limitations or ways to break those limitations, we don't have to know unless it directly relates to the story. See what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same thing. Like, Star Wars, it's directly related to the story. It doesn't have to be. We don't have to know how a Jedi trains and how he learns to use the Force, or she learns to use the Force. We need to know what the limitations that they can use the Force within that story. Like, there's limitations with dark and light, and with turning you, and with the Force starting to take control of you, right?
Yeah.
Versus you controlling the Force. That's stuff that we don't need to necessarily explore. That's why we don't in the first one, right? It still makes sense when Luke doesn't understand how all the Force works, because Ben Kenobi's just saying that the Force is something that exists in all things, right?
Yeah. Okay, I'm at the 3-hour mark. I need to go take a break.
Yeah, I'm pretty close. Pretty
What?
Close. So I'm pretty close. You can go take a break if you want to, but I'm just saying it's pretty close.
Okay, I'll just give me a minute.
I think maybe I have a weak internet connection. That's what was going on earlier. I really like the N3s. I wear them out pretty quickly.
And I have returned.
I hear that.
Oh. Oh man, am I breathing hard? Ah. Ran down the stairs, ran up the stairs. Ah. Rhonda teaches drumming, a cardio drumming class on Saturday mornings at the Y. And I always go to support her because, you know, I mean, she's there doing it. And there would be times if I wasn't there, she'd, you know, want to have a class or something. But, so normally I don't really like it. I just, it's an hour of it's, I mean, it's a workout and everything. It's just, it's still in the morning and I still want to be home and I, you know, it just, whatever. Well, this morning I decided, no, I'm really gonna, thanks to the new year, it's really, so I just forced myself to get into it. Like, I'm dancing around and she's calling jumping jacks and I'm jumping and stuff as much as I can with my asthma, you know, just completely get into it. I broke one of my sticks. Just snapped. I mean, I snapped like that much off that stick. It was amazing and fun, but I couldn't do all the jumping jacks. I just can't do it. And I know, like in 2017, I remember, I mean, it was my black belt test. And it started off with, hey, why don't you guys do some jumping jacks while we figure out this paperwork? And like 8 years later, they finally decided they were done with paperwork. And I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die from the jumping jacks, and we haven't even started the test. That was a long day. But I am definitely not in as good of shape as I was. Apparently, Spawn's been eating Oreos.
What?
And apparently, Spawn has been eating Oreos.
Eating Oreos, huh?
Yeah, you know, when you get all that black stuff on your teeth from eating Oreo.
No?
Okay, well, I don't know if you should, but have someone in your family eat some Oreos without taking any kind of a drink. You know, just crunch it up real nice and good, and then smile big and wide, and they'll have Oreo
yeah,
stuff.
but most of the Oreos my family gets are not black.
You're one of those people.
What do you mean?
Oh, you don't like the black ones, do you?
I've never seen black fucking Doritos.
Oreos!
Oh.
Oreos. You know, the chocolate cookie with the
Okay.
cream
No, I
filling.
was thinking something else, obviously. No, this is the same thing as with the skull that I was doing earlier. This is backlit.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of funny because, like, for so long, that was like one of the areas you just had not really touched. So it's bright white and all this darkness, right? And then I get what you're doing, and I'm not making fun of that, really. I'm just, at this point, it kind of looks like that he's been eating Oreos compared to what he was, I don't know, 20 minutes ago. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's all.
I guess I'm just concentrating on what I'm doing and not what you're saying, really.
I am providing the incredibly valuable color commentary.
Oh, now
considering
we're
it's a
talking
grayscale
color.
picture.
I kind of wish I had some colors, some neon greens and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for this part, just for the eyes and for the teeth. I'm gonna leave the eyes blank, but I want the teeth to look dirty and nasty and undead. And It's not really easy trying to do subsurface scattering with a marker.
I always thought teeth were a bitch. Drawing them, painting them, didn't matter. I hated teeth. Hated them. Like eyeballs, I'm cool with. The nose, fantastic. But teeth, they're so freaking hard.
Funny that different people find different things hard like that. I really don't find teeth being hard, but backward teeth are a different story because they're darker in the center where teeth are not solid. They're not solid bone.
Right.
So they're denser in the center. So if you're backlighting them, they should be a little bit darker in the center. And they should be a little bit darker near the roots on the bottom. Because they naturally get dark like that. I know that because I studied pictures of corpses for an illustration for Flash Fiction Online back in the early days of Flash Fiction Online.
Okay, so I had a random thought, and you're the expert in this. I'm going to ask you.
Oh,
Well, you were talking about teeth, and like I know that teeth aren't solid bone and whatnot. Like I get it. Like they're hollow, they got nerves, all that stuff. Right? Got it. But I was just thinking how, like, as a tattoo artist, you have to, as an artist in general, you have to have some knowledge of anatomy. But as a tattoo artist, that goes a little bit further with. You have to know about skin and stuff like that. So it's more than just like you have some practical application with anatomy.
yeah, we have to know. Actually, we have to know about. Say we are not even there anymore. But you have to know about healing and.
Yeah, and you have to know how to have a clean and sterile environment, all that kind of stuff. Keep your tools good, all that kind of stuff. So, and this is just a random thought. But would a tattoo parlor make for a good front for a mob doctor? Especially if you have piercing rooms. Like you can have all kinds of like smaller rooms where people are going on, they're in pain. You got to have certain medical supplies anyway, and then
privacy booths. But
right, I'm just saying.
I don't know how that would apply to a mob doctor, though, per se.
Well, I'm just saying. Let's say, there's something that. Let's say my friend Jeremy, who's a surgeon, decides I'm going to be a tattoo artist. I don't know, because there's something that says he can't draw, So maybe it would be a surgeon who took up tattooing as a front so that
Well, I find that would be rare in itself right there. I've tattooed doctors, but most doctors, they wouldn't want to be associated with tattoo artists as far as being considered one. You might find some, but in my experience, that would be an insult. It's like, I don't know for how long I fought to get tattooing considered as a real art, because the towns that I live in, they didn't, you know. It was something else. It wasn't really art. It was some degenerate thing. Like, there couldn't possibly be art until I started winning so many awards that they had to stand up and take notice. Then they started considering it art, but it was such a long battle to get that kind of consideration in the first place that I would think doctors would want to stay away from it, just because it kind of makes them illegitimate, or makes them feel illegitimate about it. I can't speak for any doctors per se. Just, this is what I know from what I know, which is limited.
I'm just saying, if you want a bullet removed, I don't even say he has to be a full-on. Maybe he's a, I don't know, like.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that you would probably, more than likely, it would be a vet.
Yeah.
Someone that has access to drugs and needles and the things that they need to have access to do it, which is why that's used almost as a trope nowadays.
Right. I was trying to think of something different.
Right, and I'm just saying that I'd have a hard time imagining it, but it's not impossible. I just have a hard time imagining it. It's like, was it Harlan Coben has a show on Amazon where it's a thriller mystery type show that's about kids that are in high school and some weird stuff that's going on, right? Well, there's a tattoo artist in it because there's this butterfly tattoo that's a key to something, or is supposed to be a key to something. And this guy gives these high school kids temporary tattoos, right?
Okay.
And this one temporary tattoo he gave this one girl was permanent instead of a temporary tattoo. Like, you would notice the difference between the temporary tattoo
Yeah, like
and the real tattoo. And then he shows him doing a temporary tattoo on this other kid where he's using a tattoo machine. Of course, there's no needle in it, and there's no, clip cord or plug in the back of it, but they're still pretending, they're still playing like it's running a real tattoo machine. So it's just one of those things you look at and you go, yeah, that's just crap. There's no way. And I would tend to think that would also be the same if I would see, a supposed mob surgeon being a tattoo artist. Now, that said, I could see the tattoo artist having mob connections and bandaging somebody up. That's not the same thing. But to perform any kind of surgery, I don't think any tattoo artist or any surgeon would be a tattoo artist. But if any tattoo artist could be a surgeon, they wouldn't be a tattoo artist. They'd be a surgeon. Pays better. There's all kinds of benefits to it. So it's just a hard thing to imagine. Yeah, not saying impossible, just very difficult to imagine. I think it's because I was a tattoo artist, Like I see a movie or I see a TV show and I see somebody doing some shit like that temporary tattoo with a tattoo machine, and I'm like, that's bullshit. There's the point of not allowing minors to get a tattoo isn't that it's permanent as much as that there's a risk. Because when you open the skin, there's a risk. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So watching that, it reads wrongly. I'm sure cops do that all the time. They'll see a show and they're like, man, people believe this shit? I can't imagine that doesn't happen all the time to cops. This is that acrylic wash that I've been waiting to try. And I'm using it basically like whiteout. So it's not the way that I really wanted to try it. So this acrylic wash is wash until it dries, and then it's pretty much acrylic. That is interesting to me. Problem though is that you can thin it very quickly because gouache is basically watercolor. Yeah. I was kind of a little bit worried. That because they're alcohol markers, I wouldn't be able to lay this down over. But that doesn't seem to be the case. And luck, this will dry pretty quick. And I'll see if I can draw over a little bit of them with the alcohol markers, and that'll be it. Except for a signature, but yeah. How do those teeth read now? They read a little bit better.
They didn't read bad before.
Well,
It wasn't.
so
I know
what my concern was is that I put a lot of similar values in the same area.
Yeah.
And that tends to make them blend out of place.
Gotcha.
So when I ask about how this is reading now, because I have just a little bit of white glare on the edges of the teeth that are on the outside to indicate the light source is coming from, both ends or in the middle. But so yeah, I'm probably gonna just have to sign it, right? I'm kind of anxious to play around with this a little bit with the gouache.
Yeah.
I want to do it on here though. Like any more than just touching up white stuff with it, or trying to eliminate some of the grays from areas that shouldn't be there. No, I better not. Let's see. Yeah, at some point, if I don't call it quits, I'm going to be on this. And not be off it. I got one more thing I want to get.
just a little bit more. Oh, and then one.
Well, it's the one thing that I intended to get earlier. I left the space for it. I just didn't get it. Now I got it. Obviously, I'm going to tinker a little bit with some black stuff that needs to be filled, but for the most part, this is finished, and I don't have to be online to tinker. But if you want to take off, you can. I'm just going to tinker a little bit.
All right. Well, it's midnight, so I think I'm going to go, man. It looks good though. So.
Yeah.
So that was fun to watch. Just, I mean, like those skulls that came together. Like those are my favorite parts. I'll be honest. I love the skulls. Really great.
I like it all, but yeah, the skulls were definitely fun.
So, anyway, I'll talk to you later, man.
Yeah. Thanks
See
for
ya.
hanging out.
Bye.
Bye. Good night. Yep. All right, so that is my spawn gunslinger. There was one there. So. All right, so thanks everyone for watching. That's the end of this for now. The spawn is done. Next, I'll probably be finishing off the rhino, and then I'll be looking to see suggestions on what's next. So, again, thanks everyone for showing. I can't see when people follow on Twitch or like and subscribe or whatever on this platform. So, thank you if you did. Have a great night. God bless.